guys, you're welcome to today's tutorial. So like you can see, this is the dress we'll be making, and as you can see very well, you see that it is detachable skirt. So today we'll be making the upper part first. So this is my pattern paper, and I'm going to bring out my chest line, my shoulder to bust point, to my waistline, to my hip line, and to the full length of the dress. So having bring out those lines, I'm going to connect the lines together. So having done this, I placed my tape at the shoulder area and divided by 2 and marked the answer there. And I further went ahead to extend it to my chest line and connect the lines. So after connecting the lines, the way you see me doing, so I'll further bring my tape and mark the width, the neck width. I used 3 inches for the neck width, and for the neck depth I used 3 inches as well. So having done this, I came to the armhole area and marked 4 inches, which is the midpoint, and went in by half an inch to give it that curve I need at the armhole area. So this is my neckline. I'm going to curve it like this, and I'm going to come to the armhole area and give it a curve. So after doing that, I marked my nipple to nipple measurement at my under bust, and I extended to the chest line, and I did the same thing at the hem line as well. So having done this, before I'm going to connect it at the chest line area, I went up by 3 inches. This is because I don't want my cleavage to expose. So I'm going to extend the 3.5 inches there as well. So now I'm going to connect the lines together. So here I am marking my chest line, my under bust, my waistline, my under bust, that was my bust point, then my waistline and the hem line. So having done this, I'm going to place my tape like this, and at the other bust I'm going to mark 1.5 inch inward like this, and at the other side I'm going to mark 1 inch, and I'm going to further extend these lines to the waistline. So if you have watched this video to this extent, please consider subscribing, as this helps my channel to grow, and please do well by liking this video as well. So at the hem area, I went up by 2 inches. From the hip area, I went up by 2 inches, and I'm going to connect the lines like this, the way you see me doing. So please, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, and if you are a subscriber already, thank you so much for sticking close with us. And please do me well by liking this video, because YouTube will be showing this video to more people if you like it. And please do well by leaving a comment at the comment section. Tell me how you've seen this video, tell me if it's helpful, tell me if you like it, tell me if it's really detailed. You know, we learn every day, and from the comments you make, it will really help us to do more better. So at this upper part, we are going to mark 1.5. Just anything that you mark on your under bust, that is what you are going to mark at this area too. This is to give and this area we marked 1 inch. We're going to mark the same 1 inch there, that is to repeat it. We're going to place our tape French curve this way, and we're going to connect the lines. So you should know that the way you contour your bust there really matters, because this will really help you to get a nice bustier after cutting it out. It will really help you. So after doing this, the illusion neckline is going to start at exactly the under bust, and I don't want it to be too big. That is, I want it a little tiny. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mark 0.3 inches. Yes, I marked this at the under bust, the bust point, and the chest line like this, and I'm going to connect it together. So after connecting it together this way, I'm going to bring my French curve and I'm going to give it a sweetheart neckline at this area like this. I'm going to connect. So this is it to meet with that point there that I had. I'm going to place my French curve this way at this other side. So this placing of the French curve was actually wrong, so I further went ahead to give it the proper placing by facing the ears. This was how it's supposed to be, to give it a nice sweetheart neckline. So I'm going to connect it right now. So the first one I had was actually wrong, so I'm going to mark it out. We don't need it. So these areas I'm marking are going to be cut off. We don't need them. So after doing this, the next thing I did was to divide my bust measurement by 4 plus 2 inches extra for sewing allowance. Then at my under bust, I divided by 4 and I marked whatever I had, and this 2.5 inches here, I will replace it so that I won't run short of fabric, and I added 2 inches extra for sewing allowance. So at the waistline, I did the same thing, divide my waist measurement by 4, replace the 2.5 inches plus 2 inches extra for sewing allowance. So having done that, I went to the hip line area, which is my full length, and I added 2 inches for sewing allowance. So at this point, you can decide either to make your dress a gown or not. So having done this, I'm going to connect our lines together and cut out. So the reason why I said you can consider making yours a gown or not is because the dress we are recreating, not actually recreating, I'm going to change some things from it actually. So it's a detachable skirt, so you can remove the skirt from it and further wear only the top. Maybe it's a gown inside, I don't know, but I think it's a gown. You can consider making yours a gown, but for me, I decided to use a top or a blouse for it. I'm going to share the video on how I'll make the skirt part on another video. I'm also going to share the sewing part of this one I'm making right now in another video, so that the video will not be too long. So here I am cutting it like this. Just watch the way I'm cutting it. So we are cutting. So thank you so much for watching to this extent. Please consider subscribing and liking this video so that YouTube will share this video to more people, please. And also tell me how you feel about this video at the comment section. So that 1 inch I marked down was for slanting. Yes, it was for slanting. So having done this, I'm going to cut the neckline area. So when I was done cutting it, I cut out this illusion neckline, so you can see how I'm cutting it. Please look at it very well so that you will see how I'm going to cut it out. So after cutting it out, these are my pieces. You can see how beautiful the bustier came out. I so much love this. Going to love it even more when you are done sewing it. So this is how to contour your bustier whenever you are cutting your bustier, whichever bustier you are cutting. So this is the back part. You can see I bring out the basic block lines. Is it vertical or horizontal? I don't know, please. So for the neckline, I use 1 inch for the neck depth and 3 inches for the neck width. And at the shoulder area, I'm going to slant it by 1 inches. And I further went ahead to divide my bust measurement by 4 plus 2 inches for sewing allowance. So before that, I marked 1 inches for, I didn't add zip allowance on it when I was drafting, but when I was cutting I added the zipper allowance. So this now is the nipple to nipple measurement, and I started marking it from the chest line. So at the waistline, I'm going to mark 1.5 inch 1 inch at this area like this. I'm going to connect it to meet with the upper part area. So here I'm making the 3.5 to have a straight line first before I'm going to continue with the 1 inch I'm going to remove. So I came up by 2 inches from the hip line, and I marked a straight line to mix with what I have here. So I marked 1 inch on both sides of the waistline. So connecting it to the chest line, this is because this is the back area. So when I was done, I find out that the measurement I had was not up to 1 inch at this point, so I marked it to have the correct one. So you see, this is the reason why you really need to cross check your work anytime you are working, so that you make sure that what you have is really correct, as this will affect you when you are sewing your dress. Make sure to cross check your work to see that you had a nice the real measurements you need. So we're going to cut off these areas. So right now we're going to be dividing our measurement, first point measurement by 4 plus 2 inches for sewing allowance. We're going to do the same thing to the waist, to the hemline as well. So here I am connecting my lines together, and at the hip area I'm going to connect it to meet with the hip area like this. At this point my marker was already giving me issues, it wasn't showing properly. So having done this, I'm going to cut out everything in place. So this is me cutting it out. So right now I am labeling the back yoke, the center back, the side back, and the bust points, the upper area, the up, so that I won't make mistake when I'm going to attach it to each other. So these are the pieces for the back. So right now we're going to cut on my fabric. I'm using a doll face fabric for this. This is because I couldn't find a Mikado satin, but you can consider using a Duchess as well. So for me, I decided to use a doll face for it. It's actually going to come out nice as well. So you should know that when cutting the center front, you are going to slit the center front open. The center front is going to give you two pieces because we are going to be joining the net there, the net area at that center point. That is the reason why you can see that I'm going to give you this curve here, but after giving it the curve, same time I'm going to open it up at the center area. So this is it. I'm going to keep them aside. So this is the back part that I want to cut out. So that is the zipper allowance there. And I'm going to separate the back piece for the zipper allowance. So that is it all, guys. So this is the yoke area. I've cut the net and the net are into two by two. So if you have watched this video to this extent, thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing as this is important. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.